Hi YouTube, Mr. User Boss here, and this is an emulator test on the Nvidia Shield tablet. So in this video I'm just going to be doing a test of the Drastic DS emulator, but I have also tried the N64 emulator and the PlayStation Portable emulator, and I'll tell you about those in this video. So to start with, the Nintendo DS one. Now this works flawlessly. Now the best emulator to actually emulate the DS on is the Drastic Nintendo DS one, and this is about £3.65 in the UK on the Play Store. It was on a sale a while ago, but even at full price it's well worth it, considering, you know, Nintendo DS games alone cost like 30 quid each, and to actually be able to play all of those is pretty cool. So the actual Shield controller is being used here, and it works flawlessly. The program instantly recognised the Nvidia Shield controller, and within literally a couple of seconds I was playing the game. As soon as you turn it on, it'll automatically connect to the nearest Shield tablet, and it just works as you'd expect it to, so it's a really nice experience. There's absolutely no bugs and glitches, and honestly this looks better than the original game on DS. Not only are you playing on a much larger display, but it has been scaled 2 times, which means the internal resolution is actually doubled, and the game is actually fairly crisp. I mean, it's clearly not going to look like a native Android title, but it's pretty nice to look at, and it's actually better than playing on the Shield itself. The 8-inch screen actually makes all sorts of games more enjoyable, and I have to say I'm absolutely loving the Shield tablet for gaming. Another thing about Drastic, which is really good, is you can actually use the capacitive touchscreen of your Android device as a replacement for the non-capacitive one on the original DS. So if you don't want to use the controller, you don't actually need to, and you can control this game absolutely fine just with your fingers. So now to talk a little bit about the N64 emulator. So as with the original Shield, the N64 ran amazingly, and it still does. As you'd expect, an even more powerful device like this destroys emulators, any emulators to be honest, of the previous generation like that. And to be honest, pretty much all the games that are optimized for it work flawlessly. They work at 1080p and 60 frames per second where applicable. Now another really cool benefit of the Shield tablet over the original Shield is that you can flip it horizontally. So this not only means that you can properly full screen games, but it also actually opens up the ability to use about 2/3 of the games on Android, which were actually designed for portrait use. And as you can see, flipping it portrait drastically increases the immersiveness of the whole experience. Now to talk a little bit about the performance on the PlayStation Portable emulator. Now this is a little bit less clear cut than with the N64 one. Now there's one thing you should know about the Tegra K1 first. So the Tegra K1 is a system on a chip. This means it combines a CPU and a GPU, just like most other mobile processors such as the Snapdragon 800, the Tegra 4 and many more. And so when it comes to Tegra K1, the GPU is significantly more powerful than the competition. It absolutely destroys them, you know, it smashes them into a pulp. However, the CPU is still exactly the same as the one used in the Tegra 4, which is a year old now. Now because of that, the actual CPU computing performance has not really improved. It's gone up just a tiny bit because it's been overclocked, but generally speaking it's identical. And this means that most CPU heavy tasks such as emulating are pretty much identical in performance to the original Nvidia Shield. Unfortunately, the same can also be said for most Android titles, because they're just not optimized to actually use that much GPU power, as it's totally unseen before on a mobile device. And so the only really super impressive, you know, graphics titles you're going to see are the ones made by Nvidia themselves. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more.